Anyway, I'm at Gibralter P Visitor Centre with Hannah to talk about what wildlife we can expect to see. Hi Hannah, what do you do?
Well, William, I'm the education officer here at Gibralter Point, and that means I teach the school day visits, or schools that come here just to visit for the day, but also we have a residential centre which is just behind the visitor centre here, where schools can come and stay for 1 night or 2 nights and find out all about what wildlife we have here at Gibralter Point.
So what wildlife could me and my friends expect to see here?
Well, starting here at the visitor centre, just over here, we have 2 swallow boxes, and that means often you can see swallows that are diving around here, because this is where they can get lots of insects that they catch when in flight. So this is a really good place to see that. Obviously with the noise behind us with things going on. So this is a really good place to start down here, and then we can head towards the woods. So we've got a map here, and we can head up here along this path towards an area called Jackson's Marsh, which is just through the woods that you can just see over there. This is our only area of woods, which means we get loads of different birds that you might see in your garden. So more like your garden birds, like your robins, your blackbirds, which we don't really get on the rest of the reserve because there's not the normal trees they like. And also we've got lots of bird boxes up there to attract them. So we go up through here, we get all our bird hides, and this is a really good place to see our freshwater birds. Things like a curlew or an avocet. Have you ever seen either of those? No. Well, a curlew is really cool because it has a very, very long beak which curls down at the bottom, and it can put it right down into the mud to get to long worms that are down in the mud without getting its face all dirty. But also the avocet's my favourite. It's a big black and white bird. It's not that big, but it's quite small, but it's got a really cool beak that sort of turns up at the end, which you can use for sieving through any water that it might find. Okay, so this is a really good place for spotting birds and getting, if you want some nature photographs of any birds you might see down there. Okay, so there's loads of other places we can go. If you're wanting to see maybe more insects, a good place is to go up to our freshwater ponds, because this is an excellent place for finding things like dragonflies. Now, dragonfly nymphs like to live in the pond, and these are my favourite things in the pond because they're really fierce predators, and they will eat pretty much everything in there. And they actually live in the pond for 2 to 3 years, and like you said, really vicious and eat tadpoles, fish that live in there, so very vicious. But then when they come out as an adult, they might only live for a few weeks, so I think it's really, really cool. Especially as they're so fierce in the pond, you wouldn't think of it of a normal dragonfly. Okay. Is there any other wildlife you're interested in?
What other birds and insects and other animals can we expect to see?
Well, if you go down towards the beach, which is right over here, you can just see far in the distance the wind turbines out at sea. Going right over there to the beach, and far over there you get to an area called Mill Hill, and this is the highest point at Gibralter Point, so it's really good for having a look right out onto the beach to see. And it's a really good place, especially in the autumn, to see thousands and thousands of knot, which are a small sort of brown bird, but what happens is they feed out on the mud flats out in the wash, which is just out there. Okay, and when the tide goes out, that's all mud, and they all come down and feed in the mud, feeding on any worms and things they might find. But then, as the tide comes in, they have to take off because there's nowhere for them to go, otherwise they get very wet and they're all washed away. So they have to all take off. So you see thousands of them flying across this area here to go right down onto where there's higher ground where they can then rest away from the water. And then when the tide goes back out, you'll see them all flying back. So it's a really good thing to come and see. It's just like, you'll have to come back in autumn, sort of in September. It's a really good time to see in October. And then at this time of year, you're very lucky if you can see a little tern, because they nest right down on the beach, and they actually make their nests in a sort of little hollow in the sand, and they'll then lay their eggs, which are like, just look like stones. They're really, really camouflaged, and they'll make their nests there. But the problem with that is we do have to then fence off some of the beach, because they're really camouflaged. You just get accidentally stand. Not even good for you to do it, so that's why we have to do it. Make sure that it's cool so no one will go and stand there. And there's other birds that nest down there as well. Something called ringed plover, but also oyster catchers, and all of their eggs just although unfortunately a lot of them do eat predators. That's it, foxes and birds of prey as well. So, but it's really interesting down there, although we can't go there obviously, as I said. Okay, and other insects, I mean there's insects all over the place. This area here at the moment, this is the salt marsh at the moment. I was down there earlier today, we've got loads of froghopper nymphs. Have you seen that before? It looks like spit on the grass. Okay, and if you get a chance, you have to have a look, because it looks like someone's just spat all over the grass. Yeah, it's just like that. And it's actually, it's called something called cuckoo spit. Have you heard of it? No, but it's not the spit for cuckoo. It's called cuckoo spit because it appears at about the same time cuckoos start to appear. Okay, but actually it's got something called a froghopper nymph inside. The froghopper is a type of insect, and the nymph, the young one, lives inside this stuff and then sort of makes a bubbly, frothy thing to protect itself while it's in there. But it does just look like someone's just been spitting all the way along the path. But I promise you it's not that. So that's a really good thing to be seeing at this time of year, just along this path here, just across the salt marsh.
As you can see, there's a whole range of animal wildlife, and during the summer holidays there is a mini beast investigation and a bat hunt. Thank you, Hannah, and we'll be back soon. As you can see, there's a whole range of animal wildlife, and during the summer holidays there's a mini beast investigation and a bat hunt. Thank you, Hannah, and I'll now go over to my friends thought at Gibralter P.
That really